A black ex-cop faces a trespassing neighbor, sparking justice. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for epic stories. A sharp splash broke the evening calm as a stone struck Calvin Reed's backyard pool, water spraying onto his shirt as he stood by the edge, his dark eyes narrowing at Derek Walton, his new neighbor, a 25-year-old white rookie cop who smirked from the other side of the fence, his uniform crisp, his voice a taunt. "Oops, missed my shot. Old man, this pool's too fancy for you anyway." The racist jab cutting through the Houston air, Derek's entitlement a bold flex backed by his father. Captain Gerald Walton, a PD heavyweight whose influence had shoved Derek into a badge he hadn't earned, his incompetence a running joke among cops. A fact Calvin's 20 years as a decorated black police officer had clocked instantly. Derek's provocation a spark that would ignite a battle Calvin was ready to wage with a veteran's cunning. The tension surged, Derek tossing another stone, the splash grazing Calvin's shoes, his sneer widening. "You don't belong here, Reed. Stick to your side of town." The slur rooted in insecurity. Derek's need to overshadow Calvin, a black ex-cop whose record dwarfed his own, fueled by pressure from his father to prove himself. But Calvin's calm was a fortress, his voice steady. "This is my property. Walton, drop the rocks and leave." But Derek's laugh was sharp, his hand hovering near his holster. "Relax, my dad runs the PD. I do what I want." A boast that echoed his earlier trespass, caught 2 nights ago when Calvin's cameras recorded him waiting in the pool, his glance darting to the alley behind the fence, a nervous tick that raised Calvin's hackles. His late nights skulking in the same spot cementing suspicions when Calvin spotted him handing a small package to Rico Vega, a known drug lord. Their hushed exchange and hasty retreat hinting at a 5 umoam, Calvin's instincts screamed to unravel. The pool rippled, Derek's stones sinking, his arrogance a challenge Calvin met with a steely gaze, his mind flashing to years of facing bigoted cops, the sting of being called outsider, in precincts now echoing in his own backyard. But his heart pulsed with resolve. He wasn't just a homeowner, he was Calvin Reed, a man who'd outlasted prejudice, now driven to protect his peace, his cameras a silent ally, their lenses capturing Derek's every move, from his pool stunts to his alley deals. A dossier that held a damning clip, Derek and a PD crony passing a package to Vega, their tension palpable. A deal Calvin suspected tied to a murder case the PD wanted buried, a truth he'd expose with a cop's precision. The neighborhood's silence was heavy, residents like the Garcias next door staying quiet, cowed by Gerald Walton's grip on the PD, their own clashes with Derek, slurs, fake complaints, hushed by his father's clout, a dynamic Calvin sensed when he'd moved in. Derek's sneer at his welcome wave, a barb that fueled his vigilance. His cameras, now 3, angled to catch the pool and alley, their red lights blinking as Derek lingered, his smirk fading under Calvin's stare, his voice low. "Last chance. Walton, leave, or I handle this my way." Derek's eyes flashed, his fingers twitching. "You're nobody here. Reed, watch your back." A threat that betrayed his fear, a rookie outmatched by a man he couldn't rattle. But Calvin's resolve held firm, his mind plotting, his cameras rolling, a plan forming to turn Derek's hubris into his downfall, a spark that would light a fire of justice. The pool's wee surface stilled, Derek's stones settled at the bottom, his arrogance a gauntlet Calvin would answer, his years of de-escalation training tempering the fury in his chest, the memory of precinct slights pushing him to act, not with fist but with cunning, his cameras a promise of truth, their footage a weapon to wield. The alley beyond the fence loomed, its shadows hiding Derek's secrets. But Calvin's lenses were watching, a silent vow to expose the rookie's game. The night deepened, Derek's retreat a temporary lull, but Calvin's heart burned. He wasn't just defending his home, he was reclaiming his peace. A fight he'd waged with the strategy of that man who'd mastered the art, a flame ready to burn through lies, a beacon as he braced for a showdown that would shake Houston to its core. Calvin Reed crouched in his Houston home office, his dark eyes locked on the glow of his security monitors. The footage replaying Derek Walton's latest trespass, the rookie white cop's boots stomping across Calvin's backyard patio, a beer bottle smashed against the pool's edge, his voice a venomous slur. "This ain't your turf, Reed!" The racist taunt echoing through the night. Derek's escalating intrusions, a bold challenge fueled by his father, Captain Gerald Walton, whose PD clout shielded his son's incompetence. A fact Calvin's 20 years as a black police officer had clocked. The monitors now showing Derek's drunken stumble toward the alley behind the fence, his nervous glance meeting Rico Vega, the drug lord, their quick exchange of a small package, a chilling confirmation of the 5 UMOAM Calvin had suspected. A deal he'd unravel with a veteran's precision, his cameras, now 5, angled to catch every move, a silent weapon. Derek's arrogance, a spark that would fuel Calvin's plan to turn the rookie's hubris into his downfall. The air crackled with tension. Derek's trespasses growing bolder since their first clash. His parties at Calvin's pool now a weekly affront. 3 nights ago hosting 6 PD cronies, their music blaring, their slurs, "Go back where you came from," ringing out as they tossed cans into the water. Derek's laughter sharp as he spray-painted "outsider" on Calvin's deck. Each act a jab to unsettle Calvin. A black man who dared claim a home in their elite enclave, his father's influence quashing complaints, Derek's calls to the PD framing Calvin as a disruptive neighbor, a tactic to harass the ex-cop. But Calvin's resolve was iron. He wasn't just a homeowner, he was Calvin Reed, a man who'd faced bigots and survived. Now driven to outsmart a bully cloaked in a badge, his cameras capturing every violation, a dossier swelling with clips of Derek's alley deals. The latest showing him passing a package to Vega, their whispers tense, a deal Calvin pegged as a $700,000 trade to bury a murder case tied to a PD informant, a truth he'd expose with calculated patience. The night deepened, Calvin's heart pounding as he reviewed footage, Derek's slurs a bitter echo of precinct taunts he'd endured. But his mind stayed sharp, spotting a pattern. Derek's alley meetings always followed his pool trespasses, a cover to scout the area, his PD buddies loitering nearby, their glances wary, a setup Calvin recognized from his days busting corrupt cops. The alley a safe drop zone because Derek assumed Calvin wouldn't suspect, a miscalculation Calvin would exploit. His plan forming to trap the rookie, not with confrontation but with evidence. His cameras a growing arsenal, their lenses now catching Derek's latest stunt, dumping motor oil into the pool, the slick spreading as he sneered. "Sell the house, Reed." A provocation Calvin met with a steely nod, his voice low. "You're on camera. Walton, keep digging your grave." Derek's eyes flashed, his hand twitching near his holster. "You're nothing here. My dad'll bury you." A threat that betrayed his fear. A rookie outmatched by a man he couldn't rattle. But Calvin's calm held, his mind plotting, his footage a weapon to wield. The neighborhood's silence was a weight. The Garcias next door hushing their kids to avoid Derek's wrath. Their own run-ins, slurs, fake complaints, silenced by Gerald Walton's grip. A dynamic Calvin sensed when neighbors avoided his gaze. Their fear of the captain's reach palpable. But Calvin's heart burned. He wasn't just fighting for his pool, he was fighting for his place. A stand against the prejudice Derek embodied, his cameras rolling as Derek's cronies returned. Their laughter carrying new slurs. "This pool's ours now." Their bottles smashing against the deck. A defiance Calvin countered with a silent vow, his plans sharpening. A strategy to expose Derek's deals and turn his entitlement into his ruin. The monitors flickered, Calvin's fingers pausing on a clip, Derek and a PD ally meeting Vega. The package swapped with a handshake, their haste betraying a deal gone tense. A truth Calvin would use to unravel the rookie's game. His cameras now 6, their angles covering the pool and alley, their red lights blinking as Derek's latest trespass unfolded. His spray can hissing, the word intruder scrawled on Calvin's fence. A taunt Calvin met with a grim smile, his dossier a ticking bomb. Each clip a nail in Derek's coffin. The pool's surface shimmered, oil slicks swirling, a battleground where Derek's arrogance would meet its match, and Calvin's resolve surged. He wasn't just defending his home, he was dismantling a bully's power, a fight he'd waged with the cunning of a man who'd seen it all, a flame ready to burn through lies, a beacon as he braced for a showdown that would shake Houston to its core. Calvin Reed hunched over his Houston home office desk, his dark eyes glued to the flickering security monitors, the grainy footage confirming his worst suspicions as Derek Walton, the rookie white cop next door, slipped into the alley behind Calvin's backyard fence. His uniform shadowed as he handed a small package to Rico Vega, the drug lord's quick nod sealing a $700,000 deal to bury a murder case. The exchange a chilling proof of the 5 VUMOAM Calvin had pieced together. Derek's trespasses into Calvin's pool now clear as a cover to scout the area, the secluded spot by the pool a safe drop zone for his illicit trades, a truth Calvin's 20 years as a black police officer had trained him to unravel. His cameras, now 7, their lenses angled to capture the alley and pool, a silent arsenal. Derek's arrogance a fuel that drove Calvin to hatch a plan, a non-toxic green pool dye to trap the entitled cop, a spark that would expose his corruption and light a fire of justice. The monitors buzzed, Calvin's heart pounding as he replayed the clip, Derek's nervous glances betraying his fear. His deal with Vega a desperate bid to prove himself to his father, Captain Gerald Walton, whose PD clout shielded his son's incompetence. A fact Calvin had clocked. But Derek's latest move had escalated. Last night, he'd led 4 PD cronies to Calvin's pool, their boots trampling the deck, their slurs. "This ain't your place, Reed," cutting through the air as they dumped cigarette butts into the water. Derek's voice sharp. "Sell the house, or we'll make you," a threat backed by a call to the PD. Officers arriving to investigate Calvin for disturbing the peace, a tactic to harass the ex-cop who dared claim a home in their elite enclave. But Calvin's resolve was steel. He wasn't just a homeowner. He was Calvin Reed, a man who'd outlasted bigotry, now driven to turn Derek's hubris into his downfall. His cameras capturing every violation, a dossier swelling with clips of Derek's alley deals, the latest showing Vega slipping him cash, their haste a tell Calvin recognized from busting corrupt cops. The night pulsed with tension, Calvin's mind racing as he cross-checked footage. Derek's pool trespasses a pattern tied to his alley trades, each party a pretext to check for witnesses. His PD buddies loitering as lookouts, their slurs a mask for their nerves, a setup Calvin saw through. The pool's proximity to the alley making it Derek's blind spot, a flaw Calvin would exploit with a dye he'd researched. Safe but reactive with the luxury sunscreen Derek's crew used. Turning skin green for days, a legal trap to humiliate the rookie and expose his crimes, his plans sharpening as Derek's harassment intensified hours ago. Calvin found his mailbox smashed, a note scrawled, "Leave outsider," the rookie's latest jab. A provocation Calvin met with a grim nod, his voice low. "You're done, Walton. My cameras see everything." Derek's eyes had flashed when confronted, his hand twitching near his holster. "You're finished. Reed, my dad'll crush you." A threat that echoed his fear, a rookie outmatched by a man he couldn't break. But Calvin's calm held, his mind plotting, his footage a ticking bomb. The neighborhood's silence was oppressive, the Garcias next door whispering warnings about Derek's wrath, their own run-ins, slurs, fake complaints, silenced by Gerald Walton's grip, a dynamic Calvin felt when neighbors dodged his gaze, their fear of the captain's reach a weight. But Calvin's heart burned. He wasn't just fighting for his pool, he was fighting for his dignity, a stand against the prejudice Derek wielded, his cameras rolling as Derek's latest stunt unfolded. His cronies dumping paint into the pool, the chemicals swirling as Derek sneered, "This is our turf now. A defiance Calvin countered with a silent vow. His die planned a masterstroke to expose the rookie's crimes. The monitors flickered, Calvin pausing on a clip, Derek and a PD ally meeting Vega. The package swapped with at a glance. Their tension a tell Calvin would use to unravel the deal. His cameras now 8, their angles covering every inch, their red lights blinking as Derek's trespasses continued. His slurs a taunt, Calvin met with a steely gaze. His dossier a growing arsenal, each clip a step toward justice. The pool's white surface churned, paint slicks spreading, a battleground where Derek's arrogance would meet its match, and Calvin's resolve surged. He wasn't just defending his home, he was dismantling a bully's power, a fight he'd waged with the cunning of a man who'd seen it all, a flame ready to burn through lies, a beacon as he braced for a showdown that would shake Houston to its core. Calvin Reed sat in the dim glow of his Houston home office, his dark eyes fixed on the security monitors. His heart steady as he watched Derek Walton lead a dozen PD cronies through his backyard gate, their laughter piercing the night as they swarmed his pool. The rookie white cop smirked wide as he tossed a champagne bottle onto the deck. His voice a venomous slur. "This pool's ours, Reed." The racist taunt a crescendo of his campaign to drive Calvin out. His entitlement fueled by his father, Captain Gerald Walton, whose PD clout shielded his son's incompetence. But Calvin's 20 years as a black police officer had prepared him for this moment. His plan now in motion. A non-toxic green pool dye added hours earlier, reactive with the luxury sunscreen Derek's crew slathered on. Set to turn their skin neon for days. The cameras, 9, angled to capture every splash, a silent trap. Derek's arrogance a fuel that would ignite his downfall. The footage poised to expose his $700,000 5-wing MOM with drug lord Rico Vega, a deal Calvin had confirmed as a cover to bury a murder case. The pool a secret drop zone Derek thought safe. A misstep Calvin would make him regret. The monitors buzzed, Calvin's fingers poised over the controls. The party unfolding as Derek's cronies dove in. Their designer swimsuits gleaming, their slurs, "Go back where you belong," echoing as they guzzled liquor. Derek's latest escalation since his alley deals with Vega. His trespasses a pretext to scout the drop zone. His PD allies loitering as lookouts, their nerves betrayed by glances toward the fence. A pattern Calvin had clocked. The rookie's latest stunt, slashing Calvin's pool cover with a knife. The fabric shredded as he crowed. "Sell the house, or we'll torch it." A threat backed by another P call. Officers investigating Calvin for harassment, a ploy to intimidate the ex-cop who dared claim a home in their elite enclave. But Calvin's resolve was iron. He wasn't just a homeowner, Shana. He was Calvin Reed, a man who'd outwitted corrupt cops, now driven to spring his trap, his cameras capturing every move, a dossier swelling with clips of Derek's deals, the latest showing Vega slipping him a cash-stuffed envelope. Their haste to tell Calvin would use to unravel the conspiracy. The night pulsed with tension, Calvin's heart racing as he monitored the feed. Derek's slurs a bitter reminder of precinct taunts, but his mind stayed razor-sharp. The die plan, a masterstroke inspired by a PD case. The chemical safe but devastating. Its green hue a perfect humiliation for Derek's ego. His crew's sunscreen, high-end, pilfered from their lockers, ensuring the reaction. Calvin's strategy honed when he overheard Derek bragging about a big bash to own Reed's pool. Why a misstep Calvin exploited, faking his absence by parking his car blocks away, his cameras rolling as the party raged, Derek's voice booming. "This is our turf now," a defiance Calvin countered with a silent vow, his trap set to spring. The monitors flickered, Calvin pausing on a clip, Derek and a crony checking the alley, their deal with Vega tense. A package swapped with a glance. A truth Calvin would use to expose the rookie, his cameras now 10, their lenses covering every angle, their red lights blinking as Derek's party escalated, his cronies dumping glitter into the pool, the water shimmering as Derek sneered. "You're done, Reed!" A taunt Calvin met with a grim smile. His dossier, a ticking bomb, each clip a nail in Derek's coffin. The neighborhood's silence was a weight. The Garcias next door whispering fears of Derek's retaliation. Their own run-ins, slurs, fake complaints, silenced by Gerald Walton's grip. A dynamic Calvin felt when neighbors dodged his gaze. But his heart burned. He wasn't just fighting for his pool, he was fighting for his place. A stand against Derek's prejudice. His cameras rolling as the rookie's cronies trashed the deck. Their slurs a challenge Calvin would answer with cunning. His die plan, a stroke of genius. The chemical reaction moments away. The footage poised to capture Derek's disgrace. A spark that would light a fire of justice. The pool churned, glitter swirling. A battleground where Derek's arrogance would meet its match, and Calvin's resolve surged. He wasn't just defending his home, he was dismantling a bully's power. A fight he'd waged with the strategy of a man who'd seen it all. A flame ready to burn through lies. A beacon as he braced for a showdown that would shake Houston to its core. Calvin Reed leaned forward in his Houston home office, his dark eyes locked on the computer screen as his edited video surged past 10 million views in hours. The footage a damning masterpiece capturing Derek Walton and his dozen PD cronies. Their skin a neon green from the non-toxic pool dye Calvin had deployed. Their chaotic sprint from his backyard pool, a viral spectacle under #Green Cop Karma. Derek's racist slurs, "This pool ain't yours, Reed," blaring through the clip, his panicked shriek as the die took hold now a citywide joke. The rookie white cop's arrogance shattered. His $700,000 5-VUMOAM with drug lord Rico Vega exposed when neighbors' phone footage synced with Calvin's, revealing Derek's alley deals behind the pool, a deal to bury a murder case unmasked by the scandal. The Houston PD suspending Derek within hours. Captain Gerald Walton's clout crumbling as news outlets screamed, "Green Cop's corruption." Calvin's 20 years as a black police officer fueling his resolve. His cameras, 10. Their lenses a silent army, a weapon that had turned Derek's hubris into his ruin. A spark that ignited a firestorm of justice. The monitors buzzed, Calvin's heart racing as social media exploded. The video's reach, CNN, MSNBC, local stations, amplifying the outrage. Protesters flooding Houston's streets with chants, "Justice for Reed," their signs, "No more green cops." A rallying cry, Derek's disgrace a public reckoning. His father's desperate calls to the PD ignored as Rico Vega, spooked by the viral clip, turned informant, spilling details of the $800,000 deal to bury a murder case tied to a PD informant. A truth Calvin's footage had forced into the open. But Gerald's allies struck back hours earlier. Calvin's mailbox was torched. A note scrawled, "You're dead, dear Reed." A threat echoed by a hacked email to Calvin's lawyer. Naya Randall, warning. "Drop the case, or you're done, bitch boy." Talia Morse, a journalist ally, faced a forged article accusing her of slandering the PD. A note, "Speak, and you're gone." Elias Baumfawn, a community advocate, found his car's tires slashed. A message, "Stay quiet, or you're next." Calvin's resolve was steel. He wasn't just a homeowner. He was Calvin Reed, a man who'd outlasted corruption, now driven to protect his community. His dossier a ticking bomb, each clip a nail in the PD's coffin. His plan to push the video wider, a strike against Gerald's empire. The night thrummed with tension. Calvin's mind sharp as he sent the footage to national outlets. Derek's green-tinted exodus, a public humiliation. His slurs a noose tightening around his career. The PD's statement, "Officer Walton is suspended pending investigation," a crack in Gerald's armor. But Calvin knew the fight wasn't over. Gerald's allies escalating their threats. A fake police report surfaced, accusing Calvin of inciting violence, a lie Calvin countered with his dossier. His cameras capturing a PD crony tampering with his fence. A clip he shared with Talia, her expose hitting the airwaves. "Rookie cops, green scandal rocks PD," a blow that drew the FBI's eye. Their probe targeting Voss's $900,000 network. A conspiracy Calvin's stand had cracked open. The city's pulse raced, neighbors like the Garcias breaking their silence, their voices joining the protests, their stories of Derek's slurs, "You don't belong," and fake complaints fueling the outrage. A dynamic Calvin felt when Elias rallied the block. "Reed's fighting for us!" A cry that pierced the neighborhood's fear of Gerald's reach. But Calvin's heart burned up. He wasn't just fighting for his pool, he was fighting for justice. A stand against Derek's prejudice. His cameras rolling as Gerald's allies struck again. A drone dropping a Molotov cocktail at Calvin's gate. Neutralized by his quick call to allies in the PD. A contractor confessing. Walton ordered Reed's silence. A truth Calvin used to tighten the noose. His video now at 15 million views. The hashtag a global call. The monitors flickered. Calvin pausing on a clip. Derek's deal with Vega. The cash swapped with a glance. A truth now public. His green disgrace a catalyst that had unraveled the P's lies. His cameras a silent army. Their red lights blinking as Derek's allies faltered. Their threats a fading echo. Calvin's plan to share more footage a final blow. Each clip a step toward dismantling Gerald's grip. The pool's surface gleamed, a battleground where Derek's arrogance had met its match, and Calvin's resolve surged. He wasn't just defending his home, he was toppling a corrupt dynasty, a fight he'd waged with the cunning of a man who'd seen it all, a flame ready to burn through lies, a beacon as he braced for a showdown that would shake Houston to its core. Calvin Reed stood in his Houston home office, his dark eyes scanning the security monitors as news alerts flashed across his screen. The viral video of Derek Walton and his PD cronies, their skin neon green from Calvin's pool dye trap, now surging past 20 million views with hashtag #GreenCopKarma. The footage exposing Derek's racist slurs and triggering his suspension. The rookie white cop's 900,000 FIVU moam with drug lord Rico Vega laid bare. A deal to bury a murder case unmasked by Calvin's cameras. The Houston PD reeling as the FBI deepened its probe into Captain Gerald Walton's corrupt network. Derek's father facing scrutiny for shielding his son's incompetence. A seismic shift that had galvanized the neighborhood. Residents rallying around Calvin, their voices breaking the silence once enforced by Gerald's clout. But the captain's allies struck back with vicious threats. Their desperation fueling a new wave of attacks on Calvin and his supporters. A storm. Calvin's 20 years as a black police officer had steeled him to weather. His resolve a flame ready to burn through their lies. His cameras, now 12, their lenses a silent army, a weapon to protect his community and ignite a broader fight for justice. The monitors buzzed, Calvin's heart steady as CNN replayed the green-tinted chaos. Protesters flooding Houston streets with chants, "Reed's our hero." Their signs, "No more corrupt cops," a rallying cry, the Garcias next door leading the charge. Their teen son, Miguel, sharing how Derek had targeted their family with slurs and fake complaints. A story echoed by the Martinezes, who'd faced Derek's harassment over their kids' basketball games. The neighborhood's fear of Gerald's reach crumbling as Elias Vaughn, a community advocate, organized a block meeting, his voice booming. "Calvin's fighting for us all." A call that drew cheers, the community's unity a testament to Calvin's stand, but Gerald's allies escalated. Hours earlier, Elias's shop was vandalized, windows smashed, a note scrawled, "Back off or you're dead." Talia Morse, a journalist ally, faced a hacked broadcast accusing her of inciting unrest. A note, "Speak and you're done." Naya Randall, Calvin's lawyer, found her office server wiped. A message, "Drop Reed's case or you're next." Calvin's resolve was iron. He wasn't just a homeowner, he was Calvin Reed, a man who'd outlasted corruption, now driven to shield his neighbors. His dossier a growing arsenal. Each clip a nail in Gerald's empire. His plan to share new footage a strike against the captain's grip. The night thrummed with tension. Calvin's mind sharp as he sent fresh clips to Talia, The footage showing Derek's alley deals with Vega. Their cash swaps, the truth now fueling the FBI's probe. Gerald's network unraveling as agents raided PD servers, seizing records of 1 million in illicit payments, a lead tying the captain to a decade of buried cases. His son's green disgrace, a catalyst that had cracked the PD's facade. But Gerald's allies struck harder. A fake affidavit surfaced, accusing Calvin of extorting the PD, a lie Calvin countered with his cameras, capturing a PD crony planting drugs at his gate, a clip he shared with Talia, her expose hitting national airwaves. PD captain's corruption exposed, a blow that drew the Justice Department's eye, their investigation targeting Gerald's 1.2 million network, a conspiracy Calvin's stand had forced into the open. The city's pulse raced, neighbors breaking their silence, the Garcias hosting a rally, their stories of Derek's slurs, "You don't belong," and Gerald's intimidation fueling the outrage. A dynamic Calvin felt when Miguel handed him a sign. "Reed's our champion," the block's unity a shield against Gerald's reach. But Calvin's heart burned. He wasn't just fighting for his pool, he was fighting for justice. A stand against the prejudice Derek and Gerald wielded. His cameras rolling as the captain's allies struck again. A drone dropping a firebomb at Calvin's fence, neutralized by his quick call to FBI contacts. A contractor confessing. Walton ordered Reed's elimination. A truth Calvin used to tighten the noose. His video now at 25 million views. The hashtag, a global anthem. The monitors flickered. Calvin pausing on a clip. Derek's deal with Vega. The cash swapped with glance. A truth now public. His green disgrace a spark that had lit a movement. His cameras a silent army. Their red lights blinking as Gerald's allies faltered. Their threats a fading echo. Calvin's plan to share more footage, a final blow. Each clip a step toward dismantling the captain's dynasty. The pool gleamed, a battleground where Derek's arrogance had met its match. And Calvin's resolve surged. He wasn't just defending his home, he was forging a legacy. A fight he'd wage with the cunning of a man who'd seen it all. A flame ready to burn through lies. A beacon as he braced for a showdown that would shake Houston to its core. Calvin Reed stood in the heart of his Houston backyard, his dark eyes scanning the crowd of neighbors gathered around his sparkling pool, their faces alight with defiance as they raised signs reading, "Reed's our hero," the community's unity, a fortress forged by Calvin's viral video. Now at 30 million views with hashtag #GreenCopKarma, the footage of Derek Walton and his PD cronies, their skin neon green from Calvin's die trap, having toppled the rookie's career, his $1. 2 million 5 UMOAM with drug lord Rico Vega exposed. Derek now under deep FBI scrutiny. His father, Captain Gerald Walton, forced to resign as the Houston PD announced sweeping reforms. The captain's corrupt network crumbling under the weight of Calvin's evidence. A seismic victory for the ex-black cop whose 20 years on the force had honed his resolve. His cameras, 12, their lenses a silent army, having sparked a reckoning. Gerald's allies' threats fading as the neighborhood rallied. But their final desperate strikes tested Calvin's iron will, his heart aflame ready to burn through their lies. A beacon for justice that would reshape Houston. The air pulsed with energy. Nia Randall, Calvin's lawyer, addressing the crowd, her voice sharp as she detailed the FBI's raid on PD servers, uncovering $1. 5 million in illicit payments tied to Gerald's network, a conspiracy that had shielded Derek's incompetence in buried cases for a decade. The captain's resignation, a public surrender. His son's green-tinted disgrace, a catalyst that had forced the truth into the open. But Gerald's allies fought back hours earlier. Nia's car was rigged with a tracking device. A note scrawled, "Stop Reed or you're dead." Talia Morse, a journalist ally, faced a hacked newsfeed accusing her of fabricating evidence. A note, "Speak, and you're gone." Elias Vaughn, a community advocate, found his shop's locks glued shut. A message, "Stay quiet, or you're next." Calvin's resolve was steel. He wasn't just a homeowner, he was Calvin Reed, a man who'd outlasted corruption, now driven to protect his neighbors. His dossier a lethal weapon, each clip a blow against Gerald's fading empire. His plan to share new footage a final strike to bury their threats. The night thrummed with tension, Calvin's mind sharp as he sent fresh clips to Talia, the footage showing Derek's alley deals with Vega. Their cash swaps of truth now fueling the FBI's probe, the agency charging Derek with bribery and obstruction, his father's resignation a crack in the PD's armor. The reforms, mandatory body cams, civilian oversight, taking root. But Gerald's allies struck harder. A forged police report surfaced, accusing Calvin of harassing officers. A lie Calvin countered with his cameras, capturing a PD crony slashing his tires, a clip he shared with Talia, her expose hitting global airwaves. PD captains false sparks reform, a blow that drew the Justice Department's eye, their investigation targeting Gerald's 1.8 million network, a conspiracy Calvin's stand had shattered. The city's pulse raced, neighbors breaking their silence, the Garcias hosting a rally, their son Miguel sharing how Derek's slurs, "You don't belong," had targeted their family, a story echoed by the Martinezes, who'd faced Derek's fake complaints. The block's unity, a shield against Gerald's reach, a dynamic Calvin felt when Elias handed him a petition. "We're with you, Reed," signed by 50 residents, the community's defiance a testament to his fight. But Calvin's heart burned. He wasn't just fighting for his pool, he was fighting for justice, a stand against the prejudice Derek and Gerald wielded. His cameras rolling as Gerald's allies faltered. Their final threat, a drone dropping a smoke bomb at Calvin's gate, neutralized by his quick call to FBI allies. A contractor confessing. Walton's crew wanted Reed gone, a truth Calvin used to seal their fate. His video now at 35 million views. The hashtag a national call. The monitors flickered, Calvin pausing on a clip. Derek's deal with Vega, the cash swapped with a glance. A truth now public. His disgrace a spark that had lit a movement. His cameras a silent army. Their red lights blinking as Gerald's allies weakened. Their threats a dying echo. Calvin's plan to share more footage a final blow. Each clip a step toward dismantling the captain's dynasty. The pool gleamed, a battleground where Derek's arrogance had met its match, and Calvin's resolve surged. He wasn't just defending his home, he was forging a legacy, a fight he'd waged with the cunning of a man who'd seen it all, a flame ready to burn through lies, a beacon as he braced for a showdown that would shake Houston to its core. Calvin Reed stood at the podium of a Houston convention center, his dark eyes shining with quiet triumph, his voice resonating through a crowd of thousands as he accepted a National Civil Rights Award, their applause a roaring tide honoring his fight. The viral video, now at 50 million views, with #Green Cop Karma, having shattered the $1.8 million corruption network of Captain Gerald Walton and his son Derek, the green-tinted disgrace of the rookie white cop exposing his war. 2,000,005 vu Moam with drug lord Rico Vega, a deal to bury a murder case, Derek now facing federal charges, Gerald forced to resign, the Houston PD reformed with body cams and civilian oversight, a seismic victory that had doused the last threats from Gerald's allies, their network obliterated. Calvin's 20 years as a black police officer fueling a legacy that stretched beyond Houston, his cameras, 12, their lenses a silent army, having sparked a nationwide wave of judicial reform. The neighborhood a beacon of harmony, a testament to Calvin's stand against prejudice, his heart a flame that burned through lies, inspiring a new generation to fight for justice. The convention center thrummed with energy. Nia Randall, Calvin's lawyer, presenting a documentary of their battle, her voice sharp as she detailed the FBI's final raid, seizing $2 million in illicit payments tied to Gerald's network, a conspiracy that had shielded Derek's incompetence for years. The captain's fall a public reckoning, his son's charges, bribery, obstruction, a noose tightened by Calvin's evidence. The PD's reforms now a model for cities like Dallas and Austin. But the last of Gerald's allies had struck, hours before. Nia's office received a bomb threat, a note scrawled, Reed's finished. Talia Morse, a journalist ally, faced a hacked broadcast accusing her of treason. A note: "Speak, and you're gone." Elias Vaughn, a community advocate, found his shop's power cut. A message: "Stay quiet, or you're next." Calvin's resolve was iron. He wasn't just a homeowner. He was Calvin Reed, a warrior who'd outlasted corruption, now driven to cement his legacy. His dossier a lethal weapon, each clip a blow that had silenced Gerald's empire. His plan to archive the footage, a final act to inspire reform. The night pulsed with unity, Calvin's mind sharp as he shared new clips with Talia. The footage of Derek's alley deals with Vega, a truth now taught in law schools. The FBI's probe charging 10 PD officers. Gerald's network a relic. The Justice Department's reforms, mandating transparency, spreading nationwide. The neighborhood's transformation a testament to Calvin's fight. The Garcias hosting block parties. Their son, Miguel, leading Suesi. "Reed's our champion!" A cry echoed by the Martinezes, who'd faced Derek's slurs. The block's unity, a shield that had broken Gerald's grip. A dynamic Calvin felt when Elias organized a community watch. "We're stronger now." His voice a rallying cry. The neighborhood's defiance a flame that burned through fear. The city's pulse soared, protesters' signs. "Reed's legacy." A national anthem. Calvin's heart burning. He wasn't just fighting for his pool, he was forging a future. A stand against Derek and Gerald's prejudice. His cameras, a silent vow. Their final clips shared with the NYACP, their award a beacon as Calvin spoke. "They tried to break us, but our truth rebuilt justice. For every voice silenced, every right denied." Naya's nod was a lifeline, the last of Gerald's allies silenced. Their forged reports accusing Calvin of inciting chaos, crushed by federal agents, who uncovered Gerald's 2.5 million network. A final thread that ended the conspiracy. The PD's reforms a testament to Calvin's fight. Body cams now mandatory. Civilian boards empowered. A shift that echoed in cities nationwide. The convention center roared. Talia's voice to reporters. "Reed's fight changed America." A call that drew global eyes. The neighborhood a model of harmony. Residents like the Garcias sharing empanadas. The Martinezes hosting hoops games. The block a tapestry of unity. A legacy Calvin felt when Miguel handed him a plaque. Houston's hero, signed by 100 neighbors. The community's embrace a shield that had vanquished Gerald's reach. But Calvin's resolve surged. He wasn't just defending his home, he was inspiring a nation. His footage a spark that had lit a movement. His pool a symbol of resilience, a battleground where prejudice had met its match. The monitors stood silent, Calvin's cameras at rest, their red lights dimmed. The footage a legacy that would endure. A truth now public, Derek's disgrace a lesson, Gerald's fall a warning, the city's air alive with hope. Elias's voice on the news, Reed's fight is ours. A beacon as Houston braced for a new dawn, the pool gleaming, a testament to Calvin's stand, a flame that burned through lies, a beacon as he forged a legacy that would shake the world to its core, from a harassed ex-cop to a community hero. Calvin Reed sparked justice. Thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for more epic stories. Don't miss our next video.